Hello everyone. It's James again. And today I want to talk about something very important. And that's the feeling many of us that were raised by narcissist parents or a parent have felt. Or are currently feeling. And that feeling is being ashamed you're showing up to relationships with nothing. Being ashamed you're showing up to relationships with nothing. And this is a feeling other narcissists out there in the world can see and smell on us. And probably one of the reasons why we ended up with the last narcissist we were with. You see, as I've mentioned quite some time before, children of narcissists are oftentimes put in uncomfortable situations. We go over to someone's home to visit, or meeting the family of someone new we are dating, and we are asked about our parents, or our family of origin. And our answers are shaky as if we are trying our best to muddle through our answer and change the subject. They can sense something is wrong with our relationship with our parents or parent. So they ask more and more questions to satisfy their curiosity. While we sit in our chair squirming waiting for the night to end. No matter how good at conversations we are, we always are thinking in the back of our mind, I hope they don't ask about my family. I hope the questions don't get too personal. It all started for me when I was a child, and parents of other children would say, "So James, what does your mother do for a living?" I would just freeze. And I remember one time, I just responded, "I don't know." It was a really messed up experience to say the least. Being put on the spot like that. I was always embarrassed my mother never had worked a day in her life. And that she was just a hoarder. And that she lived off of every free money program she could get. The problem, or what I felt was a problem, was I presented myself well. And it got me into a lot of normal situations. With what I thought were with normal people. And then the questions would come out. "Hey James. What does your mother do for a living?" And then when I got older, it was, "So James, does your family live in the area? Maybe next time you should bring them with you. Or do you see your family much?" I mean, I didn't want to lie. But I didn't want to tell the truth either. Which is another video in itself about the guilt many of us have had to feel for lying about our lives just to get through life. Because of our family of origin. But right now we are talking about being ashamed you're showing up to relationships with nothing. No matter it be a friendship or a dating relationship. Because even when you figure out telling too much about your life is not the best thing out there. Because toxic people can hone in on that. Where does that leave you? Where does that leave you? What do you say? Because what tends to happen is, it's the person that shows up in our life that doesn't seem to ask too many questions. That seems to be accepting whatever little, or what we deem to be little, we bring to the relationship. That's the person we end up sticking with. Why? Because they didn't make us feel like utter garbage for not having a normal family. This is the story of our life. Or at least for many of us. But here's what I started to learn. I was accepting and overlooking poor behavior from these so-called people in exchange for them overlooking the fact I came from a screwed up family. That's the God's honest truth. And I look back now and I can't believe I made such a deal. Or allowed such behavior. Here's the facts. Things can be very hard when you are a child or a teenager. Going over to friends' homes. Or picking up someone to go to the movies you are dating. And you are hit with 20 questions by their family. There's no way around that. And yes, there might be better ways to answer those questions, such as, I come from a small family. Or in my case, when they asked about my mother's employment. Or what she does for a living. I could have just put my shoulders back and say, she doesn't. What did you say, James? She doesn't. She doesn't work at the moment. There are personal reasons why she doesn't work. However, I can assure you I do work. What I didn't realize is confidence like that goes a long way. And you know if someone keeps pressuring you if you gave such an answer. They are flat out being a jerk. And that's a home you don't want to go back to. Which is another point. Besides being stuck with, let's say, a friend. Or a woman I was dating that seemed to have accepted my flawed family. I was so stuck on proving I was good enough to their family. It was a screwed up mess. For some reason I thought of their family as a family I wanted to belong to. And I would work so hard to get them to like me. However, when I look back on it, their family was just as toxic as mine. They just had a better way to cover it up. No hoarding. Nice house. Both parents in the house. And both had jobs. Now I understand you can't judge a book by its cover. But I felt like a loser compared to these types of people. Showing up empty-handed to the party, so to speak. Wow, you come from such a cool family. And I come from nothing. I'm so sorry. And it's that mind frame and way of being that allowed me to put myself in situations where I was abused over and over again. Now, I would never show up and say, my mother is a narcissist to people. Or for that matter tell them the ugly truths about my home. Because most people will never understand. But at the same time, I don't have to be scared I'm showing up to the party alone. There are ways to answer questions without telling too much. But without acting like you are unworthy to be there. And if these answers aren't good enough, then that's the wrong place to be. Never beg for someone's company. Never beg for someone's love. And if you misjudge and you end up in a friendship or relationship with what you believe to be a narcissist, don't stick around. Don't think you must stay because this is the only person that accepted all of your flaws and you think no one else will. Sure. It's not easy. And yes, some people that are healthy might not want you for their daughter or their son because they hear your answers. And they aren't quite sure. Things are on the up and up with you. But all I have to say is that's their problem, not yours. You can't make people like you. And you don't want to do that either. If someone likes you, and they understand you come from a screwed up home, and they've learned this over a time span of dealing with you, they will make sure to tell their parents. Hey, can you not ask James about his family tonight when he comes over? James is a really nice guy. He just doesn't have much family. It's just him. And I don't want things to be awkward. Because think about it this way. Wouldn't it be odd if you were dating someone for a year? And they clearly now know you come from a screwed up home. And this person is supposed to care about you. And you are now going over to meet their family for the first time. And they didn't say something on your behalf before you showed up. And let you twist in the wind all by yourself. Don't you think if this person came from a healthy home, they've told their family about you? And one of those things is, you know, James is a really good guy. He just came from a pretty hard background and doesn't have much family. Or he has no family. Can you please keep your line of questions you have for him directed at him and his life? Showing up at such a home, in such a circumstance, and you are left twisting in the wind. This should tell you all you need to know about this person you've been dating for the last year. And it should tell you all you need to know about their family. Because if this person you're with says after the fact, you know, James, I did let them know you didn't have much family and that you had a hard background. And to not ask questions that would make the night awkward. And they did anyway. I'm sorry. Well, hey. Maybe they come from a toxic family as well. Because people that know something is going to hurt someone and they do it anyway, are just doing it for the sake of watching someone squirm. Which is something a narcissist would do. Also, at times you will find the person you might be there with totally set you up and are just as bad as their parents. Trust your gut. And even if it's been a year, and you feel like this person faked like they understood your problems only to exploit them, leave. Leave and don't look back. Because you are good enough. You see, the problem is many of us have been or are short-sighted. And we don't understand by getting away from these people that exploit our pain. There are those out there that won't. But we don't know that because we are stuck dealing with these jerks that pretend like they've accepted us. Only to take back that acceptance. Leaving us fighting to get it back. Instead of putting our shoulders back. Realizing we are worthwhile and leaving as fast as our feet will carry us. And the more this is done, the more it teaches you proper responses and timing to the things you say. Look. Being confronted with the questions people ask us in our day-to-day lives isn't easy. But with practice we can get good at our delivery. And good at our timing. To where we come off strong and confident. And less attention will then be placed on our family of origin and more of the attention will be placed on us. Which is where it belongs. Please never feel like you aren't good enough because you come from a crummy family. I know it's hard. But don't feel like you have nothing to offer. And this is the reason why I tell people. Get out there and do good for yourself. Offer great things to yourself. And when you do that, it will shine through to others. And they will see it. If you're asked about your family in the middle of all this, keep your answers short, sweet, and even witty at times. And divert the conversation right back to you. And if someone doesn't think that's good enough, leave these people right where they are at. Because you have places to go. And people to meet. Life is too short to stay in this constant looking and seeking approval from other people, number one. And number two. Life is too short seeking approval from people that are jerks. Well, that's all I have for now. I do hope everyone has a blessed day. And until next time. Bye for now. And be good to yourself.